So you built everything you were supposed to build, right? The career, the money, the title, and now you're asking yourself a question you didn't expect. Is this it? Here's what most people won't accept. That question isn't a crisis, not a weakness, and it's not ingratitude. Marcus Aurelius answered it 2,000 years ago, and almost nobody talks about what he actually said. There's a name for what you're feeling. It's called the arrival fallacy. The belief that once you hit that goal, the promotion, the number, the milestone, you'll finally feel the way you thought you'd feel. But you won't, you didn't, and you never were supposed to. Marcus Aurelius wrote this in his journal, the book we now call Meditations. He was the most powerful man in the world, emperor of Rome, and he wrote, when you've achieved the object of your desire, you will find it's not what you expected. He wasn't being cynical, he was being honest. He had everything, power, status, wealth, and he still sat alone asking them that same question. The problem was never the size of the goal. The problem was thinking that it would fix what was bugging you. Here's what happens inside your brain. You set a target, lock in, dopamine fires, but it only fires on the chase, not when you get there. Then you get there all of a sudden, and it's silence. The dopamine disappears, the horizon you're chasing just goes away, and then you're standing left with nothing left to run to. You know, Seneca said, a man who has too little always craves more. The man who keeps craving is really poor, right? I paraphrase that a bit. And the worst part about doing all this, most men do the dumbest possible thing next. They just set a bigger goal, more money, bigger title, next achievement, as if the problem wasn't like the last mountain wasn't high enough to climb, right? That's not ambition. That's a loop that has no exit. Marcus Aurelius didn't stop achieving. He didn't burn down the empire and walk away. He changed what he was chasing. The Stoics made a distinction most men never learn. There are things you can control and things you can't. Goals, outcomes, recognition, you can't control those. Not really. The market shifts, promotion goes to someone else, algorithm changes, but your standards, how you show up, what you tolerate from yourself, how you treat people, and how you act when nobody's watching, that's yours completely. Epictetus said that, sometimes what you wish you want isn't quite it. It's what you wish will happen. The man who ties his fundamental existence to his outcomes already lost. The man who ties his fulfillment to a standard lives free. It's not driven by the goal. It's the difference between feeling empty and feeling solid. So here's the shift. Stop asking, what do I need to achieve next? Start asking, who am I becoming during the process? Because the goal will always feel empty. The goal doesn't change you, the pursuit does. The standard you hold yourself does. If you're running towards something just to feel whole when you arrive, stop. You won't. You're running because running itself is what drives you, right? But it's your discipline, the drive, the ability to do. Marcus Aurelius says happiness doesn't depend on the getting there. It depends on the journey of getting there. Not the title on your door, not the size of your house. Your thoughts and your standards are what everybody's doing, okay? Most men chase goals. Strong men build standards. Goals finish, standards don't. You're not broken, you're not weak, you're not having a crisis. You just built something around arriving. And arriving left you wanting more. The fix isn't a target, it's a different question. Who am I becoming, right? If this sounded with you, hit subscribe, drop me a comment. Remember, it's simple, not easy.